My name is Ryan Howard, and tonight I'm going to do a telling of the story of Prometheus. This is a story that has been told and retold from the Greek mythology since it first appeared in Hesiod's Theogony in the 8th century BCE. In a time when the heavens ruled the earth, high above the clouds on Mount Olympus, the gods sat upon their thrones, governing the realms with unmatched authority. These Olympians commanded the skies, the seas, and all beneath them, willing their shape into the very nature of existence. But before their reign, there was an elder race, the mighty Titans, who once held dominion upon all things. Now, among these ancient beings was one named Prometheus, a Titan with a gift unlike any others, forethought, as his name would come to mean. While his brethren reveled in the strength and power that they possessed, Prometheus's mind wandered down different pathways. He could see what others could not, a future marred by inevitable conflict and a great war yet to come. He foresaw the day when the earthborn giants would rise against the Olympians, threatening the very order that Zeus had fought to establish. Yet Prometheus found no satisfaction in these visions of destruction. Unlike his fellow Titans, whose strength was rooted in dominance, he sought a higher purpose. While others clung to their fading power, Prometheus turned his mind towards creation, crafting and shaping, understanding rather than destruction. Even as the Titans' time waned, he focused on what could be built in the wake of such turmoil, distancing himself from the endless cycles of conflict that consumed his kin. Now Zeus, having just secured his dominion over the heavens and earth through the great war, the Titanomachy, sought to fill the world with life that would please and entertain the gods. The Olympians reveled in their newfound powers, but Zeus longed for more than just victory and control. He desired a creation that would reflect the glory of their reign. And so, he called upon Prometheus, whose craft and foresight were unmatched upon the Titans. "Prometheus," Zeus commanded, "from the dust of Gaia, shape for me creatures that will honor the gods with their devotion. Let them toil and praise so that they may offer tribute to our greatness." Prometheus, though bound to serve Zeus, felt the weight of his momentous task. He went to the riverside, where the clay of Gaia was soft and rich with the essence of the earth. Now, with skilled hands, he shaped mankind. Beings humble, very fragile, but endowed with that spark of his own curiosity. They weren't divine, but they were unique, capable of thought and reflection, if only their potential could be realized. Zeus, bemused by Prometheus's creations, watched as mankind took form. But for all of their innocence and simplicity, Prometheus saw something more within them, though he dared not speak it aloud. Under Zeus's command, these beings were to serve and to be docile, not to question. They were to toil and to praise, not to aspire. Yet in his eyes, Prometheus saw the sparks of something greater within them. Now, Zeus had been pleased with mankind for some time, content as they toiled away, and offered some simple praises to him and his brethren gods. And for the part of the gods, they watched from on high as these fragile beings fulfilled their role of subjects to the divine. For Prometheus, though, he saw a reality of humanity's existence just a little bit more clearly. Though he had shaped them of his own hands, they'd been left vulnerable to the world that offered little mercy. They had no warmth to keep the biting cold at bay. They had no shelter to keep the storms away, and no knowledge of how to defend themselves against the magnificent and wild creatures of Gaia. As Helios passed each day, Prometheus watched his children struggle against the forces of nature, the very forces that the gods had dominion over. One night, Prometheus had had enough, and as the gods made to rest as Selene drew the moon across Nyx's tapestry, he plotted. For the first time since time had even begun, he would outright defy the will of Zeus. Now there had been times, of course, in playfulness, in wrestling, maybe flirting with the occasional nymph, where he had defied Zeus. Of course, every god had at some point defied Zeus in some way. But outright defying his will, an outright command that Zeus had put into stone, this was something else entirely. In the dead of night, as all but the most nocturnal of gods slept in their golden halls, Prometheus set his plan into motion. Knowing that his actions would bring the wrath of his beloved Zeus, he knew that the weight of mankind's burden was vastly more painful to him. Quietly passing as a shadow, he descended the peaks of Mount Olympus, finding his way deep into the caverns that housed Hephaestus's forge, that divine place in which Hephaestus molded the tools and weapons of the gods. In that forge contained an eternal flame, brimming with the light and essence of creation itself. Deeper and deeper still Prometheus descended, until finally he arrived at the gates to the forge. To no surprise, he found himself face to face with the Brontes, Cyclopes that were to aid Hephaestus in his forging duties. Sighing heavily, Prometheus thought to himself that the crime that he was about to commit would pale in comparison to the crime of letting humanity stay ignorant. And so he fought and he slew the 3 Cyclopes that were guarding over the forge. First, he choked the life out of the one. And the second one, he beat the life from him as he wailed. And for the third, he just smashed a club upon his head, the very club that one of the Cyclopes tried to use upon him. Now exhausted from the battle, and with the Cyclopes laying lifeless at the foot of Hephaestus' forge, Prometheus approached this eternal flame that he had come to spirit away. It burned in his hands, the very essence of creation itself etching upon his titanic skin. Swiftly, he stashed the spark into a hollowed-out fennel, hiding the light from watchful eyes of the gods. And silently, Prometheus hastened down the cliffs to Mount Olympus, descending upon the world of mankind. As he gifted the fire to mankind, the coldness and the darkness that plagued them receded almost instantaneously, not only warming their hands and their homes, but igniting the flames of imagination and creation in their mind. With fire, they could now forge tools and weapons, cook food, build strong shelters that would withstand the harsh elements. Knowledge flowed through them, and they swiftly learned to master the world around them. Prometheus had gifted them more than just merely the means to survive. They now had the knowledge and power to shape their own destinies. With the arrival of dawn, however, Zeus awoke to a world changed overnight. From his golden throne, high at the peak of Mount Olympus, he saw that the flames of creation now flickered in the hands of the mortals that he had tasked Prometheus to create. His fury was immediate, and a rage that shook the very foundations of Gaia as lightning streaked from his eyes. His booming voice echoed to the gods of Olympus. Prometheus has betrayed us. He has slain the Grunties, my beloved helpers of Hephaestus, and stolen that which has been that was never meant for the hands of mortals. He has given them a means to rise above their station, and for this there must be a punishment. Yet the gods knew that this had not been the first time that Prometheus had done something to stir Zeus's ire. Again, at the feast of the first sacrifices, Prometheus had divided an ox into 2 offerings, one of succulent meat, but draped in a tough hide to not be very appealing looking. The other was of bone and sinew, but it was dressed in very succulent looking fats. Now, Zeus, knowing what Prometheus had intended, was unfooled by his plans. He still chose to take the sacrifice of sinew and bone, leaving the better portion for humanity. Zeus, he warned Prometheus that he was not any fool and that he knew of his ruse, and because of his love of humanity, he had played along. So, knowing of Zeus's love for Prometheus and for Prometheus's love of humanity, was Zeus really going to punish Prometheus? Well, as his first act of punishment, Zeus ordered the gods to gather, and every curse and ill omen that existed between them would be placed into a great Mythos. He then ordered Prometheus to create the very first woman, a woman named Pandora, who would be sent to mankind with this jar full of curses, which would be unleashed the moment the jar was opened. Now, how this turned out for mankind, that's a story for another time. Because right now, Zeus's fury was still yet to be satisfied. Prometheus, Zeus bellowed, you have always been my favorite, and I have treated you as brother, even as your own brethren rose up against me in rebellion. I have forgiven your transgressions to my rules in the past, allowing you to do as you please, but in this you have gone too far. My beloved Brunties are slain, their blood tainting the floors and fires of Hephaestus' forge. Mankind has attained the power of fire, and with it, the knowledge of creation. For this, you must be punished. Have you anything to say for yourself? A deep sigh Prometheus took as he gathered his words. Zeus, I have followed you from the beginning of time and bowed to your rule without question. However, in mankind I see a potential for greatness, perhaps a greatness that you also fear. But take heed. Mankind will be the instrument to your salvation in the days to come. A great war approaches, one that you are blinded to, and the hands of a man will be that salvation to the gods. Flashes of lightning and anger streaked across Zeus's face. He had had enough of the greatness and potential of mankind. As great as you see your precious creations, Prometheus, will be the greatness in which you feel the wrath that I have for this transgression. And with a simple command from Zeus, Prometheus was hauled to the far-off peaks of the Caucasus, where he was chained upon the cliffs by unbreakable chains. Zeus's wrath, still yet unfulfilled, added one more burden to Prometheus's punishment. Each day, a great eagle, the herald of Zeus himself, would come to feast on Prometheus's liver, and each night, due to the Titan's great prowess, his liver would grow back anew, leaving the eagle to feast again each and every day. Now, despite this unending agony, Prometheus held fast onto his resolve and did not regret his decision for even one moment. The fire that he had gifted humanity had done more than just give them warmth and safety. It ignited a passion for creativity, a thirst for knowledge, an ability to shape their own future. Though Zeus may have bound the Titan to the mountains, his legacy would forever be unchained and would forever live on through his creations. Thank you.